Hey everyone, welcome back to week 8 of building Spider-Man's Battle for New York City. So within this week, there was a decent amount of progress made compared to last week, not as much. There's a lot of focus on design, specifically, as I said last week, the Sandman aspects of this model, because Sandman is going to be the main focus, at least, of this model from at least the villain side. Basically because of his potential with Lego bricks, because I can create all of these like giant Lego monsters, sand monsters that is, out of bricks, and I think that would look fantastic. So I have a little design right here, as you all can see. We're going to focus on that. And also, as promised last week, I have worked on the subway, so, hint, hint, as you can see, with the little subway cars in front of me. So we did I did complete a bunch of that. I also did a lot of structure for the mock itself. So without ado, let's get into it right now. So the first aspect that we're going to look at least for this video, is the subway. I feel like this is the one that's going to be, or at least have the most time dedicated towards it. So the design is very reminiscent of basically the Harry Potter Hogwarts Express set, because it's such a compact design. And when basically designing the mock itself, I used the actual train car for, just sliding it through to make sure that it would be able to support a subway, right? So it's a very compact design, but it looks pretty good. This is actually design number 5. This is, I think, the best design overall. I know it probably doesn't look like much, but from what I've experimented with, this is the best one so far. As you can see, there are a bunch of clip pieces along the side, right there. And the doors are actually a little bit further in. They're held together by these special inverted bricks, right? Where the studs, I only have 2 studs in the middle, and just a typical little Lego brick wall, so to speak. And it gives it that, feel of kind of like subway train feel. I tried to make it a little bit more run down because it is a New York subway after all. Some parts that you're probably going to notice that really need to be changed are the bottom sections right here, kind of where the wheels are. I'm going to add some plates right there to make it look more like a subway train instead of a train car, so to speak, because right now it looks like a train car. But as we go along, it is going to look more and more like a subway train cars. And also, it's going to have interiors, which is even better. No one's going to complain about interiors in any way, shape, and form, because this model is going to be detailed to the brim with all sorts of functions and details, right? So next, let's move on to the design for Sandman. So as I stated in last week's video, Sandman is going to be the main spectacle of this model. Basically, there's so much potential to build with Sandman out of bricks, I just couldn't resist. So what you're seeing right here is basically a very simplified design of the original design, or at least a simplified sketch. What you're seeing here is all the sections in which Sandman is going to have kind of like these sand tentacles, or just sand like monsters, so to speak, popping out of the lower floor, because the section which we are focusing on right now is like the subway and the lower decks, so to speak, of this model. So I kind of, as you can see throughout the sketch, just have these little circles, right? These little circles, as stated, represent a certain aspect of Sandman. So the main one right here, which is the main structure, is going to be like a giant sand monster that we are going to build popping out of the villain's lair. And all of these smaller circles are going to be like tentacles, or maybe like giant fists, just kind of stomping, maybe cars or something from the first level, so to speak, or the ground level. So I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of design. If you want more information, go to last week's video, because that's where most of the information is. But without ado, let's get started onto the actual progress I made regarding this model. So like I had stated previously, most of the progress, or at least the build and design, went towards the subway cars, which will be done next week, by the way. The progression I made regarding the model, as you can see, was primarily focused in this area, right? All of this section just got built up and finished, which means the inside portions or the inner rooms of the villain's lair are complete and will be basically fully complete by next week. And what I mean by fully complete is they are going to be decked out with detail. Right now I have a decent amount of detail, not as much as I would like. Same with Dr. Octopus's lair in the corner right here. I want to incorporate even more detail, right? So also as a friendly reminder, in this section right here, we are going to have another subway car, which is going to be like a villain's science lab. So that is going to be one of the main focuses of next week. That's why I started the subway cars, so I can start that section because I want to finish off the villain's lair before I finish off any other aspect of this model. So one of the great things about this is that it is removable. So this entire section comes off. And it's basically because of SNOT bricks, which are these tiles that don't have, they're SNOT tiles, no studs on top, right? That's basically incorporated inside this section. So let me get you some closer looks. So what you're seeing here is the little section, or at least removable section that I worked on. It is meant to kind of be a little bit of a sewer hallway. There is going to be a sewer trapdoor at the top. I used a bunch of SNOT tiles to kind of get it, and it fits perfectly into the room section right there. And here's just the friendly little reminder of what the Sandman tentacles or claws are going to look like, or even fists, right? They're just going to be popping out at various points throughout this model. So next week, I'm going to focus on building like the little sections for where the tentacles are going to attach to. I know I'm biting off more than I can chew for next week, but we're nonetheless going to try to get it done. All right, so let me show you some final pictures and then we'll get on to conclude this video. So we're just going to go into some quick photos. Next week, as I said, we're going to go deeper into the rooms and their purposes, because they are a vital part of the villain's lair. Each room is going to serve as a part to the entire pie as a whole for the lair. Each room is going to be incredibly detailed, which I like because the interior of rooms is important. As you can see, the SNOT tiles have been added to make the removable flooring. And as always, I worked on the outside of the sewers. So one thing that hasn't made a preview since Helm's Deep yet is actually the Lazy Susan. So the Lazy Susan I have built on for years actually, and this is the first time I brought it out since actually recording that Helm's Deep video, which is incredible. So the mock fits very nicely, at least the section I'm working on this Lazy Susan, and it makes it really easy to build considering I'm in a small apartment right now. So it makes it, as I said, compact, easy, and efficient to focus on all sides of this model to make sure that each side gets equal treatment. And as you can see, this mock is getting absolutely huge. Every aspect of it is huge in proportions, right? And that's what I'm liking and about this set is that it has a grand scale to it. While a mock is not defined by its size definitely adds to the nature and at least the theme that the mock is going for. In this case, if I'm building New York City, it better be a large mock. When you hear the term New York City, it has to be big, right? So let's go and conclude this video. So to conclude this video, what do you all think? Please leave any suggestions or comments basically in the comment section. So I didn't make as much progress as I wanted, but I still made some great progress. The subway cars were actually much trickier than I thought, mainly because they have such an iconic design to them. Everyone knows what a subway car looks like, and trying to capture that is actually pretty difficult. So next week you will see completed subway cars, you will see more Sandman hand pits, you're going to see the science laboratory, which is going to be such a fantastic thing that we're going to focus on, and we're going to see a lot more structure. So you have those to look forward to. Also, I have a video that's going to be released tomorrow, which is the Sunday following this video, so just keep an eye out for that. With that said, thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and as always, keep on building.